Good evening and thanks for joining us on your Friday. I'm Sophie Erber. Just days after being told they could face disciplinary action if they protested on school property, South Sioux City students are tonight staging a march that starts at their school. And it's our top story at 5. KCAU 9's Hannah Adamson joins us live now in South Sioux City with the latest. Hannah?
Sophie, good afternoon. As you can see, some of the students are just making their way back. They started right here at the high school, where just a week ago, roughly 60 of them walked out of class to protest against what they call racist and sexist incidents in their school. Communications Director Lance Swanson says a list of concerns is being put together by the administration, and they're hoping for further discussions. Earlier this week, the district banned on-campus protests. Tonight, again, as you just saw, students are again protesting, but this time walking off school property.
I just hope that people that are watching this at home help us get our voices heard, because we haven't had enough. We don't want to be silenced. We're not afraid of anything. We're going to keep moving forward no matter what.
Following last week's student walkout and protest, school administration told us no students would be punished because of their actions. We have since learned, however, that was not the case. Now, we are also learning that those students who were suspended, according to the administration, that was because of the demerits those students had accumulated throughout the school year. Now, some other students are telling us there are bigger consequences they could face as a result of being part of today's and last week's protest, and we'll explain what those are coming up tonight at 6 and 10. Reporting live in South Sioux City, Hannah Adamson, KCAU 9 News.
All right, thanks, Hannah. We'll check back, and next week we'll mark the one-year anniversary of Unity Point Health St. Luke's first COVID-19 hospitalization case. That first hospitalization was on April 19th of 2020, and also when the hospital's first surge began. Coming up tonight at 10, you'll hear what this year has been like from family members who've lost someone to COVID-19 here in the area. And yet another variant of COVID-19 has arrived in the state of Nebraska. Health officials confirming a strain from South Africa has been found in Lancaster County. It is one of 291 other variants found statewide, and it does appear to be more contagious. Nebraska's chief medical officer is now asking people to get tested if they have any symptoms, and also get a vaccine as soon as possible. A gas line has burst at a Sioux City construction site. Fire crews were called into that gas leak at around 1:10 this afternoon on 14th Street and Ingleside Avenue. Now, officials tonight tell us that a 4-inch pipe busted, causing that leak. Mid-American Energy says that the line has since been shut off, and just one customer is being impacted as repairs are underway tonight. And we're learning the man suspected of killing multiple people in a mass shooting inside an Indianapolis FedEx facility was a former employee there. That is according to a FedEx spokesperson. Police have identified him as 19-year-old Brandon Scott Hull. The Thursday night shooting left 8 people dead and several others wounded. Officials say investigators searched an Indianapolis home associated with Hull and have seized evidence, including a desktop computer and other media. Still tonight, a motive is unknown.
You know, this suspect came to the facility, and when he came there, he pretty quickly started some random shooting outside the facility.
McCart added that the shooter appears to have killed himself before police even entered that building. The FBI says it questioned Hull last year after his mother told authorities he, quote, might commit suicide by cop. Memorial services have started to honor an Iowa State trooper tonight. The sergeant died in a standoff that turned deadly last week. Public funeral services began today in his hometown of Independence. It was at the community high school there, followed by a private burial ceremony. Now, according to among the reflections shared, a word about Sergeant Jim Smith's character.
Jim was a man who held his integrity with high regard. And in fact, I would say that Jim's superpower was his integrity. On behalf of the family,
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds ordered flags to fly at half-staff today, all to honor Sergeant Smith and the sacrifice he made. You can re-watch the full funeral services if you'd like. It's posted on our website right now at the address on your screen or the new KCAU 9 mobile news app. And a traveling memorial for fallen service members will be making a stop right here in Siouxland. It's called the Remembering Our Fallen photo exhibit, and it will be displayed at the Siouxland Freedom Park that is in South Sioux City. It honors the men and women who have sacrificed their lives for our freedom since 9/11. The memorial is placed inside the interpretive center there, allowing space for those who visit to be socially distant.
It's very spread out. Iowa's on one side, Nebraska's on the other, and it makes great use of this interpretive center, and this truly is what it's going to be intended for.
This memorial will be open to the public this weekend only, and it is free, no charge to see it. It's time tonight for our first check on the weather. Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson standing by. Once again, Scott, as you mentioned, a chilly day for almost, well, it is mid-April.
That's right, Sophie. It's Friday outside, but it looks a lot like Thursday, and that looks a lot like Wednesday. We've been stuck in a pretty dreary pattern here as of late. High temperatures today a little bit warmer than yesterday, but we're still talking about only middle to upper 40s for most. 49 in Cherokee, 48 Sioux City, 45 Yankton. Tonight we'll see temperatures fall into the mid and upper 30s around the area. We do still have a chance of seeing some showers later on tonight, and it looks like those will persist into early Saturday. By Saturday afternoon, things should dry up once again. We'll talk about the rain amounts. That's coming up in the 9 on 9 forecast. Sophie?
All right, thanks, Scott. The town of Laurel is planning for a complete makeover tonight. The city, as well as the Downtown Revitalization Committee, will be replacing 3.5 blocks of Main Street there. They are planning to add storm sewers, new sidewalks, utilities, and lighting, along with some green space to the town, with construction beginning tomorrow. The project will cost an estimated $3.6 million. And today marks the grand reopening of a popular South Sioux City destination. After being purchased April 1st, the beloved Southridge Golf Course opened its doors once again to the community. That was this afternoon. Now, the new owner, Rick Farrell, says he's received a lot of help from the community, who lent a hand to get the place ready when he announced he'd be reopening that golf course. And congressional Republicans continue to meet with the Biden administration over President Joe Biden's multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure plan. But right now, they're still not sold. KCAU 9's Washington correspondent Jesse Chenur with the very latest.
Washington, D.C. needs to show that we can do something big in a bipartisan way.
Republicans like Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker say they want to deliver on infrastructure promises to the American people with Democrats.
We're willing to talk about a much larger infrastructure package than we're used to.
Wicker shared that with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in the Oval Office this week, the first in a series of bipartisan talks.
I hope those meetings are as lively and engaging.
But Wicker still can't buy into the administration's multi-trillion-dollar blueprint that would not only make large investments in roads, bridges, and pipes, but also job training, affordable housing, and caregiver benefits, and would make corporations foot the bill.
That would repeal what I believe is a signature accomplishment of Republicans in 2017.
The GOP is united in its opposition, but Democrats remain divided over how much to raise taxes. While Congress continues that debate, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer plans to give a small part of the larger infrastructure effort its first test next week.
It will authorize tens of billions of dollars to make sure American families, especially low-income families, have access to safe and clean drinking water.
Democrats hope a bipartisan water bill can build momentum for a House vote on an overall infrastructure plan by July 4th. In Washington, Jesse Chenur, KCAU 9 News.
The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, was inundated with calls after opening up that hotline to its COVID-19 related funeral assistance program. FEMA tonight says more than 1 million calls led to some technical issues Monday. The agency asked for patience on Wednesday, saying there's no deadline to apply, and reassuring those who lost loved ones to the pandemic they will be able to open a case. Taking a look now at the jobs market, layoffs are down and spending is up across the country. The Labor Department reported 576,000 people made first-time unemployment claims last week. That's nearly 200,000 lower than the week before. The new numbers show retail sales in the month of March jumped nearly 10%, fueled in part by that latest round of stimulus checks. But if you're looking for a job right here in Siouxland, don't worry, we do have tools to help you out. It's called Sioux City Jobs. Just visit our website, SiouxlandProud.com, anytime and click on the Jobs tab. Well, it's a tale as old as time. Man and his best friend. How one sheriff canine combo stayed together until the end. Coming up.
And a couple of showers are expected to pass through Siouxland. Very pleasant weather is expected for Sunday and the potential for a wintry mix on Monday. More details on colder weather to come next week in your 9 on 9 forecast right after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Herber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Thanks for sticking with us. So we started the week with basically the same weather but wind, and now it's essentially been the same for about 72 hours with no wind.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Groundhog Day movie. Every day is just kind of similar out there, Sophie. We've seen more cloud cover once again today. Not too many sprinkles outside as we anticipated, but there is still a shot at a few showers happening overnight and lingering on into early Saturday. Here's a live look now from the Ho Chung Center camera in downtown Sioux City. Cloudy skies dominate here once again on this Friday. Here's what's happening now in Sioux City. Our temperature is at 48 degrees outside. The wind is from the north at 9 miles per hour. 56% is the relative humidity with a dew point now of 33. Temperatures a mix of 40s and 50s with some of the cooler spots out west. Skies on Tuesday. Things gradually get better as we approach next weekend, as it looks like we'll be able to manage some 60s next Thursday and Friday and some more sunshine for next weekend with high temperatures in the middle to upper 50s. Well, Sunday night we had a gorgeous sunset. Thanks to Lynette for snapping this picture in Sioux City, Iowa. And if you have a nice picture that you want to share with Siouxland, you just go to our website, SiouxlandProud.com. It's easy. You go to the weather tab and you just cruise on down to send us your photos. We'll try to feature them right here on the news.
That's right. Keep them coming, especially this time of year. I love when everything starts greening up.
Yeah, they're getting prettier.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Well, new exhibits are coming to light at the Sioux City Public Museum. New to you, recent artifact donations will showcase historic artifacts given to the museum by the general public. Matt Anderson, the curator of history there, says artifacts don't immediately fit in with their normal exhibits, so they kind of needed an excuse to bring them all out. Pretty cool. A custodian is keeping COVID away and making smiles, staying quirky with his antics. Why he's so popular with kids, that story's coming up. But first, a touching story of a man and his canine. What made their relationship so strong in life and death next. After a long battle with a brain tumor, one retired sheriff passed away. And just hours later, his loyal canine died as well. Jack Shea shows us how they're now being remembered.
Dan McClelland served as Geauga County Sheriff for 13 years before retiring in 2016 after a total of 44 years in law enforcement. The sheriff was highly respected, as was his longtime canine partner, Midge, known for her ability to sniff out drugs in small places. Midge was always with the sheriff, whether he was on a raid or at the county fair, and it led to a running joke.
More people knew Midge than knew him. And he actually heard somebody say one time that, oh, there's Midge, and what's his name? He loved Midge, and Midge loved him, and so did everybody else.
Sheriff Scott Hildenbrand says Dan McClelland discovered a year ago that he had a brain tumor, and on Wednesday he passed away at the age of 67.
Dan devoted his entire life to this county and protecting it, and he worked his way up from part-time deputy to all through the ranks to sheriff. And quite frankly, he loved every day of it.
Dan McClelland's family reported that just hours after he passed, his beloved Midge died as well.
They told me that as Dan started getting less mobile and sicker, that Midge was displaying some of the same characteristics, and her health was failing at the same time.
The sheriff calls the passing of Dan McClelland and Midge on the same day poetic.
Sad story there. Well, he is a man of many faces. A school custodian put on quite the show for elementary school students. Why he does it next. A beloved custodian is keeping his elementary school COVID safe, also while having a little fun. John Bartel shows us how he brings characters and costumes to life throughout the school day.
He's the man of many faces and the star of Alamo Elementary School's morning video announcements.
Why, yes, darling.
When he's not playing Captain Underpants or the crazy cat lady, Mick Simpson is Vacaville Unified School District's custodian COVID buster.
Dun, 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 dun.
Personality in theatrics isn't part of the custodial staff job description, but for the past 4 years, Mick has been cleaning the school with one thing in mind.
Being a positive role model helps these kids.
From playing foursquare on the playground to showing off his colorful socks, Mick makes a conscious effort to make every day a memorable one for the kids.
Yeah, I like the socks. He should have mac and cheese socks. His socks are pretty cool.
Okay, so Mick's colorful socks are actually a pretty big deal around here. He has hundreds of them. In the 3rd grade class, they even made him some paper socks.
That is the most satisfying part of the job. I don't care about the paycheck. It's that.
Mick goes above and beyond his janitorial duties. When the students were gone during the pandemic, he painted a mural in the bathroom with just about every cartoon character imaginable.
He just is. He has a good sense of humor.
Yeah. Sometimes he's just plain weird, though.
Weird is one way to describe Mick, but Principal Wycliffe would rather describe him as memorable.
He is going to be remembered for this. Absolutely.
Taking a live look outside right now at downtown Sioux City. Scott returns with one more check on your forecast. ABC World News is, of course, coming up next, but first, Tim joins us from the newsroom with an update on what to expect right here at 6. Hi, Tim.
Hey, good afternoon, Sophie. A lot of folks, of course, are headed home right now, ready for the weekend, and if they're getting ready to head to the north side, you may want to let them know to keep an eye out. A gas line break on the north side today, specifically along Jones Street. Still some work being done there. There could be delays as they head home tonight. Elsewhere, coming up at 6 tonight, law enforcement officers, firefighters, and other public safety officials from all across Iowa coming together today to remember Sergeant Jim Smith. The 27-year-old veteran of the Iowa State Patrol died in the line of duty last week after being shot during a disturbance. That service today held at Independence Community Junior High and Senior High School. Springtime means runny noses and some itchy eyes for seasonal allergy sufferers, but those folks are reportedly seeing fewer symptoms this year. That's partly due to the pandemic, of all things, if you can believe that. I don't mind, haven't necessarily been like that, Sophie, but some good news there, and we'll share it all at 6.
Sounds good. We'll see you then, Tim, and it kind of makes sense. Probably, I would suspect right now that for allergy sufferers, nothing's blooming in the kind of weather that we have.
Right, it has been fairly chilly outside, kind of tough for things to germinate out there with temperatures remaining fairly cold. 38 the overnight low. Tomorrow expecting to see a high of 53 with some stray showers.
All right, thank you, Scott. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again at 6. Good night.